Have you ever done something wrong and been reminded of it over and over again, a million times a day? Or worse, have you not done something wrong but been accused anyway? Well, I have. Let me tell you that every relationship is like an ionic bond. While one gives, the other must be ready to take. They must listen, respect, and act. It's about maintaining the equilibrium of a reversible reaction where the rate of forward reaction equals to the rate of reverse reaction. What I mean to say is both sides of the equation must be equally approachable and understandable. Although relationships can be pretty strong like ionic bonds, they too can be broken easily when there isn't enough trust. And that's the melting point. Oh, yes, trust. That five-letter word that can bind the closest of relationships or break it within seconds. Trust is everywhere. It exists between friends, between family members, and in nature. And then there's that part about trusting yourself. And are you asking me what trust in nature is? Well, the soil trusts the rain to shower upon the capsules of life. It is that trust that keeps life blooming. The trust between the sun and the moon to keep the world awake, and the trust that exists through the grains of sand in the ever ending desert. But does it really exist, that thing called trust? Do we say we trust someone, but not enough? If you don't trust a person entirely, it means you don't trust them at all. Trust isn't a filling flask that can be filled only halfway. It's either full or it's as good as nothing. Parents are supposed to trust you and you're supposed to trust them. But when one end of it is dangling loose, that means that someone isn't being honest or is frequently second guessing them. Not being honest can have two outcomes. Firstly, it could mean that you're concealing the truth, as in, when someone asks you a question, you say, I won't tell you, I can't tell you, which could cause a pretty bad rift between two people. The other would be downright lying to them. You know what lying is, I wouldn't need to give you an example. But I wouldn't say lying is always a bad thing. It all depends on what it's about. Are you lying to your parents because you're scared of them? Are you lying because you feel that your privacy is being violated? Is it because you think that they will not respect your views of whatever you're doing? Do you think that they will let you down or not share your opinion? Could it be that you do not trust them? Could it be that does it all come down to whether or not you trust them? And is that a byproduct of them not trusting you? Let me share with you my personal experience of how I learned that trust is mutual. When I was in 10th grade, this happened at the very beginning of 10th grade, alright? I used to use Hangouts to talk to all my friends. I used to be very active on it, and believe me or not, I'd reply to a message within minutes. But I wasn't that person who would constantly neglect studies and devote my time to chatting with all my friends. To be honest, most of my chats were about studying. Very rarely would it be about something else. I mean, there was always school to do the talking, and at home it was just about homework and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Let me be honest, this is the first time I'm actually talking about it, and this takes a lot of courage. All my friends asked me why I stopped using Hangouts overnight, why I hadn't responded to all those messages over the weekend. Had something been wrong with me, they'd asked. That was exactly what they asked. I told them that nothing had gone wrong except for the slight change that I would never be using Hangouts anymore. Why, they asked? I didn't give them a reason at all. I kindly asked them to never message me on WhatsApp either. They asked me how they were supposed to contact me, and I told them not to. Everything could wait for the next day at school. I remember your expressions, guys, when I said that. You simply didn't understand. And over time, you stopped asking because, well, it was lame. I stopped using Hangouts and then I don't give an explanation. But one of my friends once told me, quote unquote, you have to tell us someday. I'll listen then. If you aren't going to share it with us now, it's probably because it's something big and I won't ask you. But when you do want to tell us, we will be there. I'm not going anywhere. That's exactly what you said, and I hope you remember because I do. What happened that Friday afternoon had something to do with trust, honesty, and privacy, and it's been having an everlasting effect since. That day, I remember someone asked me to help out, or maybe I kind of volunteered. I don't remember now, but I was working on this speech and trying to help someone out. I even told my parents about it, so I didn't understand how things had turned out that day. I had already finished my homework, and that was when my mother came into my room and she goes all, what are you doing? I tell her that I'm working on this speech. I point out that I'd already told her that, but For some reason, she's just really furious about it. She opens my Hangouts and asks me to open my most recent chat. I do, and she scans it. And I mean, she scrutinizes it, word to word, each line. I'm sorry, but my privacy was violated. Anyway, I don't know what she thought, but what was going on in her mind was like, my daughter is talking to someone I've never heard of. That's her mind for half an hour while she goes through my 5 minute chat. See, she had to analyze each sentence, and I guess that takes time. I'm sorry, Mom, but you didn't find any incriminating evidence of whatever you were looking for, and that made you furious. Because, like I said, I was a good child and I wasn't lying. You taught me better. I never lied, and I thought you would have known. I was helping someone out, like I said, and I hope that, well, if that someone is listening to it, I hope you're okay with me talking about it because don't worry, I won't mention your name at all. That someday that someone was feeling low because, well, they weren't sure if they would do well or not, and I was trying my best to motivate that person. I was telling you that it didn't matter if you messed up or not, it only mattered whether you put in the effort or not. I was trying to help someone out, Mom, and I didn't know it was a big deal. Like, I really didn't. And out of nowhere, I was crying. Crying might have made me look like I'd made a mistake because, well, I don't know. But why I was really crying was because it wasn't just my privacy that it was violating, but it was that other person's too. I didn't think my mom needed to know that that person felt demotivated. I'm sorry for violating your privacy, that someone, but I really needed to get this out. And none of this is your fault in case you think it is. So that day, my mother accused me of lying, which I hadn't. She said that I was doing things behind her back, which I wasn't. And she said that she had raised her daughter to become someone she couldn't stand. But the truth is, I'm glad that I helped that someone out. Though it might have been really small, I'm glad about it, and I don't regret it. And thanks, Mom, because it taught me that even when you want to do something really good, even if it's really small, people see things differently. There will be a scope for people to see things every other way than the way you want them to. And that's something I'm thankful for. I know you might feel like I'm not telling you the entire story. I'm not, because I'm not ready for it yet. I'm not ready for it to flow in your frequency, but when I am, I'll share the rest. I promise you that. After that, Mom, you never trusted me. I had to delete Hangouts, which literally is impossible, but I deleted all the chats and whatever memories those words and chats with all my friends might have left me later on. I deleted it all and removed Hangouts from my Gmail, and I told everyone never to message me again. And even after all that, I was worried about how someone might message me and my mom would still think I was using it, doing something behind her back. I was afraid that might happen, and I was afraid even when I didn't do anything wrong. For a long period of time, I found it really hard to believe that good things do happen when you're kind to someone. You made me feel afraid when I shouldn't have felt afraid. I'm not saying it's your fault because you're my mom and it's your job, but I do wish you'd trust me again because, well, I don't trust you anymore. I know you go through all my chats, still read them if they're on WhatsApp and on your phone. You even try to make sense of every single emoji in the chat, which I do find is a bit crazy. That's called invading privacy. I'm not allowed to close the door to my room because you wouldn't know what I'm doing behind it. I certainly can't lock it, and yeah, my life pretty much doesn't have something called privacy. And since then, well, even since before then, you like to control every small thing I do. Everything I do might be incriminating. I don't use YouTube for anything at all. I'm not in social media, exactly. Because look, I don't know what you think I'm doing. I sometimes hesitate to search something up on Google, even if it's some random physics doubt or something, because if my laptop keys are chattering away, you assume I'm talking to my friends. Chatting with my friends, and you simply assume, you don't even ask me. You open the door, see the keys chattering, and then go, how long have you been chatting with your friends? Why don't you hurry up and just close the thing before I come in? After all, that's what you do. And that's exactly what you say, and yes, that does get me angry because I might have been studying for hours together. And I could explain this to you, but I really don't want to because I wasn't chatting with my friends. And if I told you that, well, it would sound like an excuse someone would give or someone who was covering up for a mistake, trying to make you believe something. The thing is, I just wanted you to believe it. I didn't want to make you believe it. You should have believed me before everything, right? And I didn't want to sound like I was giving an excuse. So in the beginning, I would just try to ignore whatever you said and carry on. And you'd say I'm not giving you enough respect. So I look up to you, so you know I'm listening to you. Then you think it's just me trying to be arrogant. In the end, I've just stopped caring about it. Now, if I need to talk to someone, some of my friends, I email them. I literally email them, and it's all because of what you've done. The side of Hangouts terrifies me. Terrifying. It's just terrifying. That's the word for it. In all my 15 years of existence, I've never asked my parents for a phone. We've never even had a conversation about it like a normal person would. Because, like I said, Mom, it would be more of your phone than mine because you'd need to scrutinize everything. I don't really want a phone, I'm being honest. I just want your trust and I want to be able to trust you someday. Because you didn't trust me that day, and after that, I find it hard to trust you. If I wanted to talk to something, if I wanted to talk to someone about something, it would either be my friends or my father. That day, all my father said was just one thing, and one thing only. He said, if you haven't done anything wrong, and I know you haven't, then just believe in what's right. And my dad never goes through my chats. He just might come over them, but he doesn't open them until I tell him he needs to open them and let me know about something. Because he trusts me in whatever I do, and that trust makes me look up to him in a way I see no one else. He does remind me to be safe and all that, but he does believe that I can tell the right from wrong, and it's from him that I've learned to make friends the right way and how to analyze a person and understand them. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for believing me and making me who I am. Asking for a bit of privacy while growing up is common. Sometimes we all need that bit of time alone for things that we don't want to talk about. We all need that space. All we ask for is a knock on the door before coming in and asking our permission before checking our backpacks and checking our journals. Don't go through all our things and tell us you are cleaning them. Ask us. We'd be glad to help out. We are growing up and don't want to walk in and find that our most all time favorite possession is at the bottom of the trash can. It might be worn out, valueless, but we love our things. Don't go through our texts and emails without permission. Let us have private conversations with friends and siblings without demanding a lot of details. Trust us, please, because the otherwise would break us apart. Only when you trust us will maybe those parts be mended, because once you lose your trust, it's hard to gain it. It's beyond hard, and I'm not even sure if it's possible, but it all depends on how willing you are to mend it and build a healthy relationship with us. Privacy and trust are interlinked, and I hope you understand. Needing privacy doesn't mean we're hiding something, but restricting our privacy, retaining it, is something that might lead us to do so. So please be careful. When you demand too much of the situation, it might backfire, and you will learn very less about us. The less of a parent you will become. If you and I are battling for privacy, trust is a root cause. Remember that. If you want to build a healthy relationship with us, try engaging in our conversations when we are ready to talk. Because most times when you need someone to talk, you are non existent. Give us that time, give us that importance when we speak up, and perhaps we will open up and trust you more often. Because maybe it's that one conversation that keeps us going for the entire day. If we as teenagers feel trusted, there will be many outcomes. We'll do better at school, and we're less likely to go into depression. And best of all, we'll know you have our back. If you're a parent and you're listening to this, please don't think I've said all this because I have something against my parents. No, I don't. I said all this because when trust breaks, so does self confidence. A topic I'll be addressing soon, but parents, we know we make mistakes sometimes. But let us make them, because we will learn, and in the end, it is not you who lead us to make wrong decisions. It is not the way that you have brought us up. Instead, it's just us teenagers who need to understand the wrong before the right. It is just us who needs that little bit of realization. And trust me, parents, no teenager is perfect. That we will try our best, and we will try to make you proud. It might or might not be your first time being a parent, but it definitely is your first time being a teenager. I hope you understand that and give us that trust and privacy we need. That's one of the biggest gifts we can get.